Good evening, everyone. Uh, Professor Parida and my dear friends, staff, and uh, faculty members, as well as students of IIT Roorkee. So, we will have one interactive session in which we will discuss about the yoga and also we will practice some of the yoga because that is on the eve of this International Yoga Day, which is to be held tomorrow. So we will have this session. So what is important? You see, yoga has been an integral part of our life. There has been much of the emphasis on practicing yoga, and especially in the present day when there is a large degree of unhappiness also among people. We are dealing with the pandemic, because of which there are many cases where the stress level goes on increasing. Then there are issues related to health also nowadays increasing because of some way of life we are adopting. So, as we have seen that the yoga has popularized a lot in the recent years, and that's why we need to know what is the history of yoga. Basically, in our country, which is the mentor of yoga, it was basically systematized by great sage Maharshi Patanjali, who is famous for the Yoga Sutra. And Maharshi Patanjali was born in 200 BC. So you can see that, the yoga is invented, in fact, way long back. So more than 2000 years of history in yoga itself. But why Maharshi Patanjali is that way? He is so important because he had made the Yoga Sutra. So we talked about the role of Maharshi Patanjali, who has systematized yoga for our country and for the whole world. And as we know that yoga is a practical way to lead a better life. So it shows, how to conquer the sufferings, disease, and death through the body postures, rhythmic breathing, concentration, and meditation. So, if we talk about the yoga, normally yoga is we talk about what is yoga. So, it's not simply the collection of complicated body posture, but it's a total living eternal source of scintillating that gives you happiness, and science, religion, and philosophy all in one it is. And as far as yoga is concerned, it is of four types: Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Raj Yoga. If you talk about the different yogas, Karma Yoga means that is by karma or by way of action. So, like we have to, everybody is doing his work selflessly without thinking of gain or loss. So, we all are Karma Yogi, we are working for our country or for our institute. So, that is Karma Yoga. Then another is Bhakti Yoga. So, in the Bhakti Yoga, basically, that is a path of surrender through love and devotion to God. So that is, so in that you do the prayers and all. So that is Bhakti Yoga. Then you have Jnana Yoga. So Jnana Yoga is nothing but it is by the path of wisdom. So you have the sense of self-realization, and then you communicate with God. So that is said to be very, very difficult one. And then you have Raj Yoga or Hatha Yoga, so which we normally do, so that we do by practicing, physically. So there you do the yogasana, you can do bandha and pranayam. So that is the different types of yoga. If you talk about the different, parts, so in the last one, the yoga is normally we call it as Ashtanga Yoga. So it has 8 parts: Yam, Niyam, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan and Samadhi. So we can have something knowing about all this Yam and Niyam, so that how you have to behave in a society, how somebody's behavior has to be there, that is Niyam. Pratyahari is something like withdrawal of senses in words, making mind still and steady, so that is for peace of mind. Dharana is known as concentration, and Dhyan is meditation, and otherwise we have asana and yogas and pranayam and all that. So why we do yoga? That is, as we see that in today's time we have large, we see that at large level we have stress problems, we have strains, we have aimlessness many a times. So yoga is the complete remedy to all of that, and in fact, the advantage of yoga is that hardly there is any muscle which is not activated by yoga. So that is how you can see that how much it has the effect on the overall well-being. Then we have, as we need that know that in asanas we have and that asana, when it is coupled with the rhythmic breathing, so in that case it will be a perfect tonic for all the mental and physical weakness. Yoga strikes the balance between body and mind, and also even medical science has proven that you have to take the mind into consideration, so that otherwise it will be difficult to have permanent cure. Then these are the traits of yoga. That is, it will be liberating vast source of energy, relieving from stress and strain. You have the effect of advantages of pranayam. You have meditation session that will be providing the aspiration, and you have thought and vision. It will be, so yoga is said to be uniting the body and mind. So now we must know, when we do yoga, we must understand our body, and as we see that we have the bones, we have skeleton muscles, we have lubrication mechanism where how the bones are joined. We have the spinal cord, we have the vertebra, there are 33 vertebra, and then we have elastic muscles. So all that is the part of that constitute our body. So how we do the nourishment through yoga, that is very important. Why yoga? How yoga is able to give you that much of advantage. So as you see that the cells, which are the very minute entity. So you have in the blood you have 5 lakh cells, and the blood will be in constant flow, supplying the oxygen and nutrient to cells. We do the inhalation and exhalation, that is by the expansion and contraction of the chest. You have a digestive system, that is gland which is secreting the juices for digestion, and you have a nervous system which is ruling the whole body. So the thing is that after knowing something of yoga, we should try to see that what way we should be able to have the proper sequence of yoga. And the sequence is that we should do first savasana. So now we will have the session of the yoga and pranayam. And you see, when we do the yogasana, the first thing what we do is the Surya Namaskar. We start with Surya Namaskar, and Surya Namaskar has 12 steps. So before doing any yoga, the rules, as we have seen, the rule is that yoga must start with savasana and end with savasana. And Surya Namaskar is one part, another part is your pranayam. So we will have the practice about the Surya Namaskar first. So Surya Namaskar starts, so you have 12 steps, and we start with this the first one, so then comes the second one, and so you will have, then you have third one like this, so then goes to fourth one, fifth one, then we come here, six, so we have to go like this, then we come to this stage, we come next, and this is the 12 steps for the Surya Namaskar. So once Surya Namaskar is done, basically you should relax a little bit. So the principles for the yoga is that you must relax. You have to do the yoga by relaxing. So you have not to be in a state of hurry. And what we will discuss, that few things are important in yoga, and that is that what should be the time to do yoga. So normally the best time is in the morning. If you do prior to sunset, sunrise, or you must do the yoga in empty stomach. So normally when you get up in the morning, you have the water in the stomach, empty stomach, and then you start practicing yoga. So we will start with the yoga, and the most important thing is that you need to be, your stomach needs to be empty. So, and what happens is that if somebody is practicing yoga, he is not a regular practitioner, first of all, you must be a regular practitioner, and for that, anybody, if he starts, so initially you may have problem that in the morning, your stomach is not getting clear. So that basically, and that the reason is that the digestion process may be slow for them. Somebody may have the constipation, or somebody is not habituated. So there are certain asanas which are initially done so that your stomach gets clear. So in that line, it is advised that when you start yoga, first we do normally with one Mandukasana. So Mandukasana, what we do is we try to press our stomach with this, and then we try to touch our nose with to the ground. Now the thing is that, as you know, yoga is basically, in the case of asana and pranayama, it's all a matter of how better you control the breath. So you have to either inhale or exhale, and also you have to retain at many times. So suppose you have, when you are inhaling, this portion expands, and when you are exhaling, this contracts. So when you have to contract, you have to exhale, it means that state should be that it should go down. So when we are pressing this and going down, we must exhale it fully. So we exhale and then we go down. So, and then while coming up, we try to inhale. So that way, this is one stage of Mandukasana. And you can also go for one, like you put the lap one over other, and then try to just see in this way. So that is another step. So this way, Mandukasana is done. And after Mandukasana, normally, it is practiced that you go for Supta Vajrasana. So in Supta Vajrasana, this is a pose of Vajrasana in yoga. In yoga, normally, you may be sitting. Sitting posture may be something like this is Sukhasana, and similarly, if you go and do like this is known as Padmasana. So, and then another is the Vajrasana. So this is also a posture for sitting. So this is good even after if you do it even after eating, that increases the digestive system's efficiency. So Supta Vajrasana is that when you be seated in the Vajrasana, give some gap here and then go down slowly and maintain your breath like this. So just be here for 20 to 30 seconds, and that way you can, after some time, you just take the help of your elbow and then come up. So that is Mandukasana followed by Supta Vajrasana. This is one thing which we should prefer doing first. So because what happens that in that the stomach is pressed and the unnecessary gas which is there, that is basically removed. Then the next is what we do is we start with one asana, which is, so initially we try to do the asana which in which the stomach pressing is there, and also which is good for digestion or which will remove all the gases if they are inside the stomach. So the next asana which is suggested is the Uttan Padasana. So in Uttan Padasana normally you go for lifting your leg slowly. So that is, while inhaling you take your leg lifted little bit and just 6 to 12 inches up, and then you keep it there for by retaining your breath, and even you can feel comfortable, you can do inhaling and exhaling, and then slowly up by exhaling you go down. So that is one stage of Uttan Padasana. So after Uttan Padasana you go for the Pavan Muktasana. So Pavan Muktasana, in that what we do is, if you are starting, you should start with one leg, and else you can go for with two legs. So Pavan Muktasana means all the if there are gases, if you have acidity issues, then all the those unwanted gas, all that will be removed. That's why it is known as Pavan Muktasana. So what is done is, by inhaling, while inhaling you take your feet up, and then while exhaling you press your feet and press your stomach and touch it with this. So this is known as Pavan Muktasana. Then you do with the next leg also. So that is with this second leg. This is Pavan Muktasana, and you should also do as the time progresses, when you feel that you are light, you can do with both the legs, so like that. So when you do, so if you do this asana, then you will feel that if your bowel is not completely clear, you may think of, you will have slowly, you will see that in 5 or 10 days, up to this stage, you will have to go and clear your bowel, and then you will feel quite comfortable. So that is the advantage of this kind of these asanas. Now another asana which is good for this stomach is the Ardha Matsyendrasana, and there are many. But what we suggest is, there is another asana which is followed by this is the Dhanurasana. So in Dhanurasana, it is also good for stomach, as well as it will give flexibility to our spinal cord. So in Dhanurasana, we normally have our shape as the arrow, so that is Dhanush. So what we do is we inhale, and then we take and be in the shape of arrow. So this is the example of Dhanurasana, And in this, we have given the movement of body in the opposite direction. So we should follow this Dhanurasana with another one, that is Naukasana. So that way, or we should give another asana in opposite direction, that is this one. So we can also record it as a Padhastasana. So that way. So this is basically opposite to the pose of Dhanurasana. So that way we neutralize. After this, we try to go for very important yoga asana, that is Bhujangasana, and that should be followed by Salavasana. So in Bhujangasana, you have to take the shape of the Bhujanga or snake. So what we do is, we are sleeping in this way. We are sleeping posture, and then we try to have our hands at near the shoulders, and slowly by inhaling we go up, and then we try to see towards the sky. And while exhaling, you just come down. So the advantage of the Dhanurasana is that there are many problems related to cervical, and also the spinal cord becomes flexible, and they become strong. So that is this Bhujangasana. And then Bhujangasana should be followed by another asana, that is Salavasana. So in Salavasana, what we do is, we keep our hands here, and then we, while inhaling, we take our legs up, so straight. So retaining that for about 10 to 12 seconds, we just further come down. So that we should practice with both the, first, one by one with by changing the legs, and also we can do by lifting the two legs together. So we do with the second leg, that is. And then we can do with both the legs, that is. So when we do this asana, we must have a resting posture also, and we normally do rest, either may rest in this fashion, that is known as balasana. One posture, or its another posture is like this. So this is normally the Bhujangasana followed by Salavasana. Now next asana which is recommended will be the Ardha Matsyendrasana, and that will be followed by Gomukhasana. So Ardha Matsyendrasana is a difficult somewhat exercise. So what we do is, we keep the legs here, and pressing our stomach, we try to touch our feet like this, and then move in this fashion. So, and then we hold our breath in this case. So in this case, with your thigh, your stomach is pressed. So it is very good for digestive issues. Also, it is very good for people who are suffering from diabetes or sugar-related problems. We do from both the legs. So you can have the practice of this, and then we normally follow this asana with a asana that is known as Gomukhasana. So Gomukhasana is like the mouth of cow. So we keep this, and since the right leg is on the top, so we keep the right hand like this. So this is the Gomukhasana. And next time we will start with another leg. So then again we will do it this leg, and this time left hand will come up, so that way we will have. This is the Gomukhasan. Now we should do savasana after every asana. That is normally the practicing rule. So when we do in our house, we should do it. After every asana, we should do savasana for at least 30 to 40 seconds. Now another asana which is important is the Paschimottanasana. So Paschimottanasana, what is done is your stomach is pressed again, and you are touching the finger with this. So you can start with some easy steps. So first of all, you can touch like this. You have to exhale, and then you have to touch your this portion with nose. Similarly, you do with the another side. So that is. So after that, we will start Paschimottanasana. In Paschimottanasana, basically you have to touch this, and then you have to touch your nose to this portion. So that is done. So for that, you have to exhale fully, and then you will be able to touch with your nose. So this portion, so that and in this way there is flexibility to this, and there is pressing of the stomach. So that way it affects those stomach related issues. And Paschimottanasana is normally followed by Chakrasana. So in Chakrasana, what we do is we are like chakra. So what we do is we have to lift our body. So we keep our feet near to the pelvis here, and then we keep our hand on near the shoulders and try to lift our weight. So we have to inhale while getting lifted, and when you come in this position, you have to stay here for some seconds, and then while exhaling, you just come down. So this is the stage of Chakrasana, and Chakrasana, as you see, it has many benefits. It will give strength to your spinal cord muscles, and it also has lot of positive effect on the stomach related on your digestion system. Then after that we normally try to do certain asana which increases the strength to our muscles, and also they are good for other digestive issues. One of the asana is Bakasana. So we do Bakasana in that we are in the shape of a buck or bakula, we say in Hindi. So in Bakasana normally we try to lift our weight, and we try to hold it on here. So this is Bakasana. Your face must be somewhat on the advancing side. For having the proper balance, you have to hold your posture like this and see in the forward direction. So that way you can maintain a proper balancing Bakasana. Similar to that, you may have some other asanas which are good for digestion and all, or also strength for this portion is. One is Mayurasana. So it gives a lot of goodness in terms of digestion. So that is. So this way you have to balance your weight on these two hands, and you can initially when you do, you may only do for a few seconds, but slowly if you practice, you may go up to 10 to 15 or 20 seconds. You can stay, and then you can. So these are the asanas which are very good for having the strength in your muscles, and also for the digestion issues. Then There are many asanas which are there, but what I say that normally nowadays you will have to prioritize that how much time we have. So while doing yoga, you will have to start with an aim that first you do for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, if you are not a regular practitioner so far, and then you try to increase the duration. So, as I told you that you can start with the Surya Namaskar followed by few of the asanas, like you do Tanpadasana, then you have Pavan Muktasana, you have then Dhanurasana, and then you have Paschimottasana and all. There is very important asana which is left is Halasana and Ustrasana. So Halasana is a very good exercise, and that is like this. So you have to sleep like this, and then you take your foot back. So by exhaling fully, you have to take your foot back. So first of all, you inhale and take your foot up, and then you exhale and take it back. So now you exhale. And interlock these two fingers. And stay here for some time. And then while exhaling, slowly keep your leg on the ground. So that is the Halasana. It has many benefits for this Halasana. Halasana is normally followed by an asana that is Ustrasana. So what we do is while inhaling we go back and touch our feet like this. So this is the asana that is Ustrasana. Now, towards the end of the asanas, normally we go for the Sarvangasana, which is said to be you can say king of the asanas, or it is said that you should do it in the end. So Sarvangasana is followed by a Matsyasana. So in Sarvangasana, you take your foot up. So by inhaling, you take that and go and keep in vertical position completely. And exhale and then go up. So you have to hold like this and keep in this position for maybe 10 to 15 seconds. And keep normal breathing. And then slowly, by keeping it back, and then slowly you come down. So that is known as Sarvangasana. And after Sarvangasana, normally it should be followed by, we have seen in our presentation, there are certain rules after which asana what should be performed. So after Sarvangasana, normally we do Matsyasana. So in Matsyasana, we are in this Padmasana, posture, and then sleeping and touching our toe and keep our breath normal. So this is the Matsyasana. As indicated, we have to have the proper, Savasana duration also being allotted after every asanas. So once you again give some time for Savasana, then you can start the pranayam, as we know, and in that pranayam basically we do the rhythmic exercises. We are doing the rhythmic breathing. and that basically by that we try to, so all these, so that basically it is very much required nowadays, as we see many times in this pandemic situation. We try to increase our immunity. We always stress upon the immunity, and immunity is nothing but it is very much a result of better lung conditions. And for that, we need to have proper oxygen intake, proper taking of oxygen, and then that should go into our blood. You have the lungs, and then that way, that through this zone, it will come to throat, and then ultimately it goes to our nose. So this reason needs to be clear very much, and they can be very effectively done by proper, pranayam. And in proper in pranayam, as we see, we must be knowing that we have normally, we must do minimum of 3 types of pranayams. One is Vastrika. So in that we normally exhale and inhale. So normally, at many places you will see that they may go for fast one, but normally if you practice with slow pace, it is better. Like, so at many places it is told that there should not be much of noise while doing it, and many people do it with noise. So it has, that can be depending upon the practitioner. And Vastrika is you can do for about 2 to 3 minutes. That is okay. Then we have a good pranayam, that is Anulom Vilom. So Anulom Vilom is for keeping our mind, cool. So for that, what we do is we do alternatingly with the nostrils. So we take with this and leave with this, and then again taking with this nostril and leaving with this nostril. That is Anulom Vilom. What needs to be considered in mind, to keep in mind, is that for how much time you should inhale, how much time to retain, and how much time to exhale. So basically, it's better to exhale for in larger time. So suppose you are inhaling in 5 or 6 seconds, you should try to exhale in about 7 to 8 or 9 to 10 seconds. So that is normally suggested. And also you try to retain for about 4 to 5 seconds. So that is the principle of Anulom Vilom. And then you have a Kapalbhati, that is you try to leave the exhale with more emphasis, and inhale very quietly, like this. So this, if you do, and that is basically from inside, if you have to put the jerk. So if you do it for about 2 to 3 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes, it is very much giving the strength from inside, and the breathing kind of problems can be overcome by this. There are other pranayams also which can be practiced, that is Udgit pranayam, Damri also, Shitali pranayam is there. So these are the normally pranayams which should be practiced. So in a nutshell, what I wish to say, that you should do the pranayam, and while doing the pranayam, the important thing is that, as we are discussing, the first thing was the time at which we should do these asanas and pranayam. That's normally preferable time is morning. Then what should be the duration? So duration you can have initially 15 minutes, and that you can increase to 30 minutes to 40 minutes. Then we can also do in the evening, but the thing is that our stomach should be clear. So if you do in the morning, in the evening, after lunch, you must have a gap of about 4 hours or so. And then diet, so you should have a diet so that it is having fibers and all, so that you are having minimum digestion related issues. So these are the things which you should keep in mind, and then you should do pranayam so that you remain stress free. So that's there, about the practice of these asanas. So as I told that Sarvangasana in the beginning, after Avasana, Savasana, Chakrasana after Paschimottasana, Ustrasana after Halasana, Matsyasana after Sarvangasana, and Salabhasana after Bhujangasana. This way we should follow the practices. We need to have a few aspects to be considered, like time. So time should be early morning or maybe in the late evening, somewhat close to 6:30 or 7. Duration maybe 25 to 30 minutes normally minimum. Environment, it should be a place where there should be air, circulation. Dress should be somewhat light, you should feel comfortable. Retention means in asanas you inhale, you exhale, and in between you retain. So that needs to be properly balanced. Control of breath is important. Diet, as we discussed, that we should have a proper diet, which must be regular. That is very important in doing the yogasanas. So you should be regular. You just take it as a very important activity, so that we have to be regular. You must have patience, because many times we see that the result is not coming. We are not getting any kind of problem getting resolved so quickly. So you have to have patience. It will take time, but it will be all right. And also you have to understand your body. What is your body? You have to understand it. How much you can, So that is important. If someone else may have a different kind of body structure, somebody has a different structure. So somebody is having more flexibility because he is practicing since long. So if you practice for about 2 to 3 months, you will be able to do all kind of yogasanas and pranayams. So these are the list of asana and pranayams we did, and this is the Surya Namaskar. So I am thankful to Professor Parida, our Deputy Director in the office, for coordinating this, Professor Pradeep, our coordinator for e-learning center, for their help.